Right now, you are probably less than 20 steps away from a toilet. A clean bowl, a button, a flush. And in a few seconds, one of the oldest human problems disappears from your life. No smell, no disease, no thought. But for most of human history, that did not exist. No bathroom, no toilet paper, no plumbing, no sewer system quietly carrying waste away beneath the city. So what did humans actually do? And how did something as ordinary as a toilet end up saving millions of lives? To answer that, we have to go back before cities, before pipes, before bathrooms, before anyone had a room in their house specifically designed for one private human function. For early hunter-gatherers, the solution was simple. You walked away from camp. That was it. Small groups moved often. There were no crowded cities, no apartment blocks, no streets packed with thousands of people. If someone needed to relieve themselves, they went into the bushes, covered it, and came back. Nature could handle the problem because humans were spread out. Then humans made one of the biggest decisions in history. They stopped moving. Farming began. Villages grew. Villages became towns. Towns became cities. And suddenly, the same human waste that once disappeared into nature started piling up beside homes, in streets, near rivers, and close to drinking water. Civilization had created a problem no animal had ever faced at this scale. Too many humans, too close together, too much waste. At first, people improvised. In ancient homes, some people used holes in the ground. Others used clay pots. Some used simple drains. In many places, waste was carried outside or dumped nearby. But some civilizations got surprisingly advanced. The Indus Valley cities, thousands of years ago, had drainage systems and some homes with toilets connected to covered drains. Ancient Romans built public latrines where people sat side by side over channels of running water. They even had sewer systems, including the famous Cloaca Maxima in Rome. But before you imagine a clean modern bathroom, remember this. Ancient toilets were not always private. Roman public toilets could be social spaces. People sat next to strangers, talked, did business, and cleaned themselves with a sponge on a stick that was shared and rinsed in water. To us, that sounds horrifying. To them, it was normal. Because privacy around the bathroom is not just biological, it is cultural. What feels disgusting to one time period can feel completely ordinary to another. Then came medieval Europe, and in many cities the situation got worse. People used chamber pots inside their homes. When the pot was full, the waste had to go somewhere. Sometimes it went into a pit, sometimes into a river, sometimes directly into the street. In castles, toilets called garderobes were often built into the wall, with waste dropping down the side of the building or into a pit below. Imagine living in a crowded city where horses, humans, markets, mud, food, and sewage all shared the same narrow streets. The smell was not just unpleasant, it was dangerous. But for a long time, people did not fully understand why. Many believed disease came from bad smells or miasma. And to be fair, the smell was often a warning sign. But the real killer was not the smell itself, it was invisible. Human waste was contaminating water. And when people drank that water, disease spread. Cholera, typhoid, dysentery, diseases that could tear through a city. One of the most famous turning points happened in London in 1854. A deadly cholera outbreak hit the Soho district. People were dying quickly, and many still believed the disease came from poisoned air. But a doctor named John Snow suspected something else. He mapped the deaths and noticed many victims had used the same water source, the Broad Street pump. When the pump handle was removed, the outbreak slowed. That moment became one of the most important stories in public health. It showed that dirty water, not just dirty air, could spread deadly disease. But London still had another problem. The city was growing fast, and its waste systems could not keep up. In 1858, the smell from the River Thames became so unbearable that the event became known as the Great Stink. The river was full of sewage. Parliament could barely function because of the smell. And finally, the city acted. Engineer Joseph Bazalgette helped design a massive sewer system to carry waste away from London and protect the city's water. This was not glamorous work. No crown, no statue in every town square, no epic battle scene. Just tunnels, pipes, brickwork, pumps, and sewage flowing in the right direction. But that is the strange truth of civilization. Sometimes the inventions that save the most lives are the ones nobody wants to talk about. The toilet is not just a convenience, it is a barrier. A barrier between humans and their own waste. Between drinking water and disease. Between a crowded city and a public health disaster. Modern sanitation changed what cities could be. It allowed millions of people to live close together without constantly poisoning themselves. It helped children survive. It made homes cleaner, streets safer, and water less deadly. And even today, this problem is not completely solved. Billions of people still lack safely managed sanitation, and diseases linked to unsafe water and poor sanitation still kill hundreds of thousands every year. So the next time you flush a toilet, remember what is actually happening. You are using one of the most underrated technologies in human history. A system built from thousands of years of trial, failure, disease, engineering, and public health. For early humans, going to the bathroom was simple because the world was open. For city humans, it became deadly because the world became crowded. And for modern humans, it became invisible because engineers finally learned how to make the problem disappear. The greatest inventions are not always the ones we admire. Sometimes they are the ones we forget to notice, because they work so well. And maybe that is the real story of the toilet. Not that humans invented a place to sit, but that we invented a way to survive living together. If you enjoy stories about how ordinary things shaped civilization, subscribe. Because the next time you look at something simple, a shoe, a spoon, a bed, a coin, it might turn out to be one of the inventions that quietly changed human history.